Hello guys and welcome to What the Click episode 64. My name is Lobo.
And I'm Vernon. Great to be back.
So every time people ask me, why don't I review or do videos about smart homes? Well, the reason is very simple. Because smart homes in year 2026 still sucks. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, one thing that we are planning to let you all know before we start this podcast, based on our past few releases, we are testing the waters on what exactly are the type of content that you guys like to watch. And it seems like we are looking towards a bit more independent kind of topics. Like last week, we talked about the durability and the longevity of smartphones ranking. And you all seems to like it. So yeah, so for this episode, yes, we'll talk about the tech news, but probably not the main driver of the episode. We're going to be having this discussion because even our community tab was also very interesting when you asked the question. So yes, we are going to go through and together, all of us, complain because we all love complaining, right? So the reason why we are talking about this particular topic because it is year 2026, Abang, and still smart homes in general is still buggy. It just plain sucks. So we're going to walk through my setup, Abang Vernon's setup, our setup here in the studio, my setup at home, my entire work through or the workflow for smart homes in general. And we also will take you on a very quick history lesson on what came out first, what is already available, and why things still does not work, even though there are unified ways like with Matter and Thread and stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about that. First and foremost, at home, just want to share with you all if you have missed the previous videos. My smart home setup, the main thing, the main driver and why I cannot come out from the Apple ecosystem is that I'm using HomeKit. So I unlock my door using my smartwatch or specifically the Apple Watch. Funnily enough, Akara is one of the sub-brands from Xiaomi. And they have Apple Wallet compatible to unlock, which means the studio I can do it. And also I can do it at home. But if you buy a Xiaomi smartwatch, you cannot unlock it because it's not a Xiaomi smart lock. It's a Akara smart lock. So that...
Isn't that...
Yeah, so that alone already is a little annoying.
A little bit surprising from Xiaomi also.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a Xiaomi product per se, it's part
Still
of
under
the ecosystem. Yeah. And usually Xiaomi products within the ecosystem work very well together.
Exactly. So... Because I'm using HomeKit, so I'm just going to quickly share with you what I have on my home screen for all of you to get the context. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to skip the camera area because the family is at home. I do have my entrance. You can see the living room, including the door. Some of it is off. Some of it there's no response. That is something which is happening very often to a point whereby I just ignore it. But yeah, every room, including the dining room, the kitchen, the laundry room, bedroom, office room, my cat Luna, if you follow the channel on the main channel, you know that I have a very beautiful British short hair cat. And one of the biggest automation, which I'm very proud of, is that I do have a motion sensor in her toilet. So whenever she goes and takes her pee-pee or her poo-poo, what happens is that I will have the lights in the bathroom turn on, like as though she cannot see without the lights on because their eyes are better than us. But I just wanted a reason to put that. And then it turns off when there's no motion within 1 minute. And the motion sensor is specifically towards the bottom so that it can detect her. But of course, us, if we humans, we just go up and down, it works. So ideally, what I wanted to do is because I do have a bunch of iPad at home and also here in the studio, I wanted to curate everything based on HomeKit.
Right.
So that is my current setup back at home. Now, there are certain things that works very well and certain things that does not work very well, but ideally or ultimately, I'm actually using HomeKit at my home.
Yeah.
Yes, I can convert everything to a Google ecosystem. I can convert everything into Amazon or Alexa ecosystem. Or I can go towards the crazy route of getting Home Assistant, which I will talk about or we will discuss about later on in this video. But yeah, my conclusion, I'm using HomeKit at home. How about you, Abang?
I wouldn't call my home setup a smart home setup.
Okay.
I think only the tenants are smart.
Okay.
I don't really have a proper smart home setup, but
Okay.
I think it primarily runs Google Home
Okay.
as a platform.
Okay.
I've got a couple of Xiaomi products, air purifiers. I have a RoboVac, EasyVis camera, which works with Google Home and Apple HomeKit.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's just Google.
Philips Hue lights, which I kind of stopped using because I no longer kind of shoot videos as much as before. I mean, I used to shoot a lot. So
Yeah, at home. I remember your setup.
Yeah, have the Philips Hue setup at home. Other than that, yeah, the camera is primarily to keep an eye on my cats and also my mom-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure she doesn't, go partying late at night. Yeah,
Okay. And
which
then?
my cats do. And the air purifiers, I have a couple, almost one in each room, so it helps me kind of track air quality. Number one, whether the air filters are expired or not, stuff like that. And I also have, I think, one air purifier at my mom's place, which I also keep track of via Google Home and also the Xiaomi app. So that's about it. I don't have a smart lock. I do plan to do it, but not right now.
Okay.
But otherwise, no. That's pretty much my super smart 2026 home setup.
So yeah, my question to you is that in year 2026, and as a tech fan, because some people are not huge tech fans, but they do have the smart home ecosystem. But at this point in time, when you say you have all these purifiers and all, do you have like a universal dashboard to control everything, or you still need to go through several apps?
The only universal thing, I think, it's via the Google app, the Google Home app.
Got it.
If I want specific, really ecosystem specific kind of control, then it will be the Xiaomi app.
Okay.
Because I think I have more Xiaomi stuff than the rest. Yeah, so that's what I do.
How
So
many
Google Home.
how many smart home apps do you have
I think
specifically?
two.
Only two.
Google Home and wait, hang on. I do have EasyVis.
There you go.
Yeah, but EasyVis.
Can you go
actually,
on Google? Can
I
you go on Google
I
and
can
view
say
the
it.
feed?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
I can. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
that's a good thing. I mean, ideally, I would love to migrate everything to Apple HomeKit, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a strategy right now on what I want to do with all the components that I have right now. It's not extensive anyway. I feel that I'm trying to look for a problem with the solution. You know what I mean? Because right now I don't really have a home problem per
Okay.
se in terms
Okay.
of setup. I think cameras are very important. I'll probably add a few more cameras.
Okay. So
in
would you
my-
go with the same EasyVis camera,
Yes.
or do you want to get something a
I
bit
used
more
to have a
universal?
combo. I used to have Xiaomi cameras as well. But I find the EasyVis really good and also very easy to use. So I'm gonna probably
That's
add
why
a
it's called
couple more.
EasyVis.
So I'm probably gonna add a couple more in different rooms, especially my living room, my study, just to keep an eye on my cats. Really,
Okay.
but yeah, otherwise that.
So-
no smart fridge, no smart, what else? Washing machine.
Okay.
I don't have a smart oven. I do have a smart rice cooker. Yes.
Oh, you do. Okay.
But,
So you're saying that the only time that you run between several apps is just two apps. So what is that app? The Google Home
Google
app
Home,
and
Xiaomi, and also the EasyVis.
also there's three
just
apps
the
in
feed,
total.
yeah.
Okay, got it. Why haven't you installed a smart door lock? Don't you find it easier in terms of not carrying a keys? Because like for me, I do not have any home keys, or even the office there's no key. As you know, it's face unlock for y'all.
Yeah, I think that would be the next step for me.
Okay.
A couple of my neighbors actually have smart locks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen them install those. But yeah, that's definitely.
What is stopping you
In
from
the line-
getting a smart lock? Actually, is it the price, or is that like
It is also the price. I mean, again, I'm searching for a problem for that particular product. I don't have a problem unlocking my
Okay.
doors, or I don't particularly need to have face unlock for my door and other kind of thing. So
Okay. Probably we can come up with a content series about how we make Abang Vernon's home into a pure smart home.
Also, I mean, okay, just a very typical Malaysian home. You have your main door,
Yeah.
and then you have a grill. So there's no way the grill is going to have a smart lock on it.
There is
is.
a way to do it. Yeah.
So
I can do it
I haven't
for
seen
you.
that, but on the main door, yes.
Yeah.
But then because we have a grill, so that's another friction level.
So what I do is that I have the grill, but I do not have a smart lock for the grill. So my grill is unlocked all the time. But I do have a motion.
match lock.
I do have a door and window sensor. So every time when the grill opens, there is a chime, so that people from the inside, whoever's inside at home, will know that someone is entering.
Right.
Then like there's a clang sound. Now that is using the Akara home ecosystem. And then when you close, there's another chime. So it's like turning and then cluck, cluck, which means that it's locked. So for example, if you open the grill and if nobody closes the grill, two things. Number one, the porch light will turn on automatically. So it'll just remain the lights on. And then if I hear it, I say, why the person did not close the door? Then I can just take a quick peep, or I can see the cameras. Then that way you don't have to lock both, right?
Yeah.
How security wise when it comes to your home? Like, do you feel like people is going to steal the shoes and stuff
No,
like
not
that? No,
really.
right?
It's pretty safe where I live. Because your access card is only, you only have access to your floor,
Yeah.
which is
Same.
a good thing.
Yeah, same.
And I think there are only 8 units on the floor.
Fantastic.
And basically everybody knows everybody. So it's not, you don't
Yeah.
really get strangers coming in and
Yeah.
out.
Do you
So
have
that's
that
okay.
Airbnb problem in your condo?
Technically it's not allowed.
Yeah. But
Management
you still
doesn't
do
like
lah.
it, but we do have, I think, a couple of units there.
Yeah.
You know,
For us,
bending
it's the
a little bit of the
same.
rules.
It is
Also.
also using the card for all of the only access over there. But what happens is that they are Airbnb. So there's, I think, at least about 3 units out of the 8 units upstairs. So we do have occasionally people coming and going. But our smart home ecosystem at home, there are a few layers. The first layer is the Akara G4 doorbell. So that doorbell is that when you press the doorbell, it will come out here, similar like downstairs. So if you have a Apple TV, it will actually come out like a small little thing. So if someone hits the doorbell downstairs,
So you
it
know
comes
who's
out.
at the door.
So there's one. So there's one layer. And there's also a motion sensor for that. So for example, if someone just lingers around, I'll get a notification saying that someone is lingering in front of your home. So that is one of the ways. The second one is, of course, the grill. And like I said, it turns on. And there's another camera inside of the grill porch area.
Right.
That way we can kind of know who actually entered the moment that we get a notification. And then there is the smart door lock. Now, speaking of smart door lock, I want to also segue to this question to you. Which smart door lock do you prefer? I think I know the answer. Do you want to do a fingerprint scanner, face ID, or a watch unlock?
I think ideally is a combination.
Okay.
Finger would probably not be my first choice. It'll be face, I think. It'll be easier.
Okay.
More convenient.
Okay.
I think I don't know whether it's more secure, but I think it's more convenient.
Okay.
And I think there should be a backup of PIN
Yeah.
and also
The
maybe Bluetooth.
physical, yeah.
Also Bluetooth from your phone.
Yep.
I think I've seen those
Ours
combinations.
have that as well.
Yeah, so there has to be some sort of fail-safe in case, shit happens.
Okay.
Battery runs out,
It happened to me before where I got locked outside. But the good news is there's also always the fail-safe situation whereby, like, in case that happens,
There is
there is a physical key that you can do. Or if the battery dies, there's also a USB-C port outside. You can just take a power bank, you just chill there for probably about like 5 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and then you
That
kind of
helps.
unlock
That
as
helps.
well.
That helps.
I thought you did not like Face ID because every time you enter the studio, you have issues with that.
I think it highly depends on the product, right? If the
Yeah.
product is good and
Yeah.
you don't, I never had an issue before, but like
Yeah.
this
I think it's
couple
just
of
recent.
weeks,
Yeah, could be.
dirty or
Yeah, and for me, I prefer the fingerprints unlock because the fingerprint unlock seems to be a bit more consistent. And I think as much as we play sports and all, but we maybe we don't cook as much like the typical person who cooks a lot. Maybe that's why their fingerprints are maybe not so consistent. For me, I like that better
Right.
because I struggle with face unlock too.
But what if your hands are full? You're carrying groceries, and then
Yeah.
the face alarm makes sense. So you just
So
scan
much
your
more,
face.
yeah. So much more. I totally agree. So if both your hands are tight, so that is something whereby it can really help in terms of the face unlock because there were situations over here. But of course, the reason why we are having this discussion is to complain, right? So the
But
number
wait,
one.
Tell me about your setup. What about your dashboard?
So
what do you have on your dashboard?
Yeah, so similar like here in the studio, we do have iPads all around. So my dashboard currently is Apple HomeKit's dashboard, similar on the Apple Watch and also on the iPhone. So when we go back home, if we want to have like an entire dashboard system, it is on an iPad.
Right.
Now the problem with having an iPad is that due to privacy reasons, iPad does not have this always on or always on camera mode. Android tablets has that. So
Right.
for example, like the ideal situation is that for you to have the iPad over there, and while there's nobody going towards it, the screen turns off, and then when you go towards it, the screen turns on. That would be like a ultimate smart
Right.
display, right?
Right.
This is the reason why I always get excited when there are rumors about how there's going to be a smart display for Apple, but it's always not coming. But on an Android tablet, you can either install a free app or even a paid app where it works almost like a kiosk, whereby like it's always on, but when you come out of it after maybe no motion about 1 minute or so, it actually turns off. However, there is a little hack to it, which is a little annoying, is that if you do a Siri shortcut
Yeah.
way of saying that once you go towards that, just come up with a notification. That way you can turn on the screen. And right now with the new Siri AI, that would make something very
Yeah,
interesting as
even
well.
better. Yeah, it'll be easier.
Yeah, so
to
that is my
automate.
current smart home dashboard at home, specifically on how I control everything. Now, at first, when you have this thing, you get so excited. But ideally, because I'm still staying in a rented condo, ideally, I would like to have a smart home display or a dedicated panel, like how we did it in the studio,
Yeah.
where you have an entire tablet built into
That would be nice.
into the wall itself. That way, you don't have to worry about charging it. You don't have to worry because at home is a little pening kepala, whereby
hack-
I didn't
hack the
hack.
wall and stuff?
What I do is that I have a smart plug, which works on certain timing. So probably like from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I leave it on, and then after that I turn it off again. That way, it's not continuously charging the tablet because otherwise it becomes big. So that is my hack around it. Again, these are all the things that I have to go through in order to make a smart home work. But my biggest issue and why I still think that smart homes suck in year 2026 is the fact that while you have 3, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this
10
is not
apps.
complete. 10 smart home apps.
But isn't Apple HomeKit supposed to solve all this?
Very good point.
within
The reason
one
why,
dashboard?
I'll tell you. So in here, just to break down, I have the HomeKit, I have the Akara Home, I have Roborock, which is the robot vacuum, I have Yeelight Classic, because annoyingly that Yeelight has Yeelight Classic and Yeelight Pro. That is for the studio specifically. Eufy cameras,
Yep.
because Eufy has a baby monitor. Yeelight Pro, as I mentioned earlier. Xiaomi Home, because certain Xiaomi cameras is not compatible with HomeKit, so I have that separately. I have Miros, which is a budget China version of HomeKit smart plug and all. I have Connect Live. Connect
Wow.
Live is an app specifically used in the studio where Nicholas and I will use it to turn on the AC before entering the studio. Now, the reason why Connect Live is different than the other apps is because it's specifically based on Hisense. And how you get Connect Live to open is that there is a module that you install physically into every aircon.
Wow.
Now, someone will say that why don't I just use an IR blaster? Well, let me tell you why. Again, this is why smart homes suck in year 2026. So if you use an IR blaster, right? So just said I use the app and I turn it on. But you came in there and you use a physical remote to turn it off. It does not update me in the app that is turned off because it's based on the last state of the IR blaster.
Right.
So what happens is that there are so many situations whereby I thought the AC was off, but overnight the AC was on in the studio, in the previous studio.
Is that because the AC wasn't purposefully built as a smart
Yes.
AC?
Correct.
So we are kind of hacking it to have
To do
a
the IR
sensor and
blaster. Yes, exactly. So having the Connect Live specifically under Hisense or any smart aircon system which has a physical module to know that would be the best method. But again, that means having a separate app because Connect Live or Hisense aircon does not work on Google Home, does not work directly, which means directly on the Google Home and also on HomeKit specifically. Right. Google Home latest update there is, that's how you can use your voice to turn it off and on. But the state is still not as consistent of using the app itself. If you want to use automation on Google Home works and sometimes it does not work. So that is the biggest frustration as well. Other than that, I also have the different apps which is Google Home. So all in all, that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's
so
crazy.
That is a lot of, wow, that is a very strong. Just so you all know, just for context, that is currently raining very heavily here. So if you hear some thunder, lightning, then you know what's going on.
Tropical
Nicholas
thunderstorm,
got
guys.
shock of his
Sorry.
lifetime. Okay, so that is why we feel like smart homes is not the best.
Yeah.
In the studios,
so my question to you is how did you get started and why did you get started?
the reason why I got started is the same reason why I started YouTube in the first place. For context, for those of you who
that's
don't
how
know.
I knew you doing smart homes.
Yeah. So I was very excited doing smart home stuff because I like the idea of using a voice to control the bulbs, change colors, turn off and turn on your lights. But when I started releasing videos on smart homes, I noticed that the audiences was not from Malaysia. It was coming from the US. And since I was just starting it off, I found that I needed to build an audience specifically in Malaysia. So I pivoted towards doing smartphones after that. And eventually, with all of the issues that we have, like you need to be stuck within the Google or the Amazon Echo ecosystem, that is where it was a huge hindrance for me and why I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to stick to the smartphones. Occasionally, we do smart home stuff, but yes, you are right, because I was known as the person who does a lot of smart home stuff. Yeah. And what's interesting is that before we even had this podcast, Vernon and I was discussing about maybe we should have a YouTuber who's actually doing smart home stuff. And then we did a research and only my face came out. So it's actually quite smart. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. So Nicholas said a smart home.
And
so that's the funny
we
part.
met during an event.
Yeah,
so
it was an LG
for
event.
TV.
Yeah, it was for TV. So I know there are a lot of Singaporeans who are smart home YouTubers. In the US, in the UK, as usual, there's a lot, but in Malaysia, we do not have. And the reason is because of this, right? Because of the fact that it is still nowhere near as being perfect. And another huge struggle that we have is that the fact that smart homes still do not work perfectly. Earlier, I told you about the Connect Live app. So the Connect Live app, it works based on its mood. So, for example, there was this point of time whereby the server had an issue. And I remember I asked Nick to help me to turn on the AC before we started the podcast. This is probably about 2 weeks ago. And it doesn't work. Apps in general also sucks because, like, although this is not directly related to smart home per se, like the Amaran Studio Lights, the Sidus Link app, which costs a lot of money yearly, earlier it just decided to log out by itself. And imagine if I was not around and Nicholas could not even on and turn on our podcast because I need to give him my Google username and password, which does not make sense in the end of the day. So that is still the biggest frustration that we actually go through.
But the logout situation with apps sometimes is because when you run an update, somehow maybe for security reasons it logs you out.
Okay.
Before it updates.
Yeah.
Or after it updates.
But for a smart home that needs to be always on.
Yeah, it's going to be an issue, right?
Yeah. So that's where, like, for example, like, just say you come back home and suddenly you find that all the lights are off. And you have configured the lights based on how you have to leave your physical switch turned on. And then everything is controlled within the app. But what if you come back home to a situation whereby everything is still off when it's supposed to turn on? You know what you need to do? You need to go to every single switch, turn off everything physically and turn it on again, and then
like
wait for the Wi-Fi to connect, and then after you turn it off one by one.
Yeah.
That is one. Number two, if you ever had an electricity or a power failure, this has happened many times, especially I'm not around. What happens is that when the electricity or the power comes back on, everything turns on. Every single thing turns on. Every light, whether or not it's during the day, it just turns on
then
everything.
it forgets everything.
It does not forget everything. That is something which has been heavily improved. But imagine coming back home is like, huh? Why is everything turned on? Oh, electricity went out. Good. So again, these are the power state reasons whereby it is still not the best when it comes to that. So let's talk about the history of this entire mess, right? First and foremost, in year 2026, we have this particular brands per se. We have Apple, obviously, within the ecosystem with HomeKit, and they ideally want you to be in the ecosystem. And then there's Google, who is very much wanted for your data to sell it off. So beware all Fitbit users. Amazon, who wants you to own every single hardware, including your microwave and stuff like that. And then Matter was supposed to be the great unifier, right? Matter was supposed to be the answer for every smart home because it was this unified way for every smart homes to be within one. So,
like a unified language.
Yeah,
for
exactly. So it was like, it was this vision, which means that Samsung Smart Things, Amazon's Alexa, all of these things are going to be unified with one. But it's still nowhere near as being perfect. So that was one of the biggest annoyance on that. And there's Matter version 1.6, which is already a step forward. But, there is still that issue of trying to get certain things to work and certain things that does not work, right? Because the so-called unified experience is something that I still feel like is still not the best. And if you're saying unified experience, why is it that Apple, HomeKit or Google cannot connect my Amaran apps with my lights? By right, everything's supposed to be all the same. So that is something which is actually very annoying. So yeah, I think that would be the reason why we feel it's annoying when it comes to having all the smart homes to work together. Now, just to give you all context about the so-called protocol. Now, this protocol question, a lot of people do not know, especially when you buy a smart home product. So before you buy a smart home product, these are the things to look at, whether or not it's a Zigbee product, whether or not it's Z-Wave, Thread, or it's a purely Wi-Fi device. Now,
explain to us what these four things are.
So yes, definitely, I would love to, right, as a smart home fan. Zigbee is cheap and reliable.
Is this from China?
Majority of it from China, but also, like, you do have, like, for example, Philips Hue is also under the Zigbee protocol. But of course,
so
it needs a hub, right? Something like your Philips Hue. The Philips Hue does not work without a hub, right?
Yeah, you gotta plug
so
it
that
to
is
the
a Zigbee protocol. And at this point in time, Zigbee still remains to be one of the largest in terms of smart home ecosystem. So if you had to choose between all of them, I think being at Zigbee would be the safest. And then there is the Z-Wave. Now, Z-Wave is, of course, the premium choice. This is harder to find locally here in Malaysia.
I've never seen Z-Wave.
So Z-Wave is a bit more like, you know how AI, you have your on-device AI and your cloud AI? So ZY is ZY. Maybe I missed the fella. So Z-Wave is like your premium protocol, which works with Wi-Fi and without Wi-Fi.
Okay. Why is it premium?
The reason why it's premium is because the price is expensive.
So it's a subscription?
No, it's
Or
not a subscription. It's
product?
just a product which is a bit more
Okay.
higher. And because
What's it's a hub router.
it's a type of device. So
Okay.
like for example, you can have a Zigbee bulb and you can have a Z-Wave hub.
Right. Got it.
The Zigbee bulb only works with a hub, but the Z-Wave does
Works
not
with
need a
Wi-Fi
hub.
and hub.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And also, it's a bit more expensive because it's a separate protocol. You know how we got internet, we got 3.4G and 5G.
Yeah.
So that's a separate protocol. And then you have Thread, which is the new kid on the block. Now, this is actually built for Matter specifically. And Thread devices automatically complies with the whole Matter protocol, which means that if you're going out there to buy Thread devices, that means that you can either install that device on its own app. So like for example, just say it's called the Vernon Tech Item, for example. You can download the Vernon app, or you can just use Apple HomeKit and directly install it. So that works for things like Miros, for example. And then there's Wi-Fi, which is, I would say, the easy trap. The reason why, because a lot of people go with the Wi-Fi route because it's the easiest. You don't need your hub, and it works so fast. And of course, only recently Akara came up with dual Wi-Fi connection, like for 5 gigahertz and 3.4 gigahertz. I mean 2.4 gigahertz. But the 2.4 gigahertz is obviously better for smart home because it's a bit wider in terms of the range compared to 5. So newer smart home products have both, which means that if it finds that 5G is the best way or the best connection, then it will just stick with that. Otherwise, means you just stick to 2.4G. But of course, Wi-Fi means that once your Wi-Fi goes down, because you do not have hub, that's it. Gone.
Which I think, why I think Thread over Matter is very interesting. And by the way, you can now buy stuff from IKEA, which is built in with Matter support, right?
Exactly.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So Thread is interesting because the devices talk to each other P2P.
Yes,
It doesn't need to go to a Wi-Fi connection. It doesn't need to dial to the cloud somewhere and in order to communicate.
Absolutely.
So number one, you can have batteryless almost devices.
Yes.
You save on battery power. Those which are battery powered would save on power. And latency is very good because you don't have to be routing to a hub or something. So that's good. Thread is good. The only thing is adoption. As usual, everybody wants to come up with their own protocols and ecosystem. So it really is an industry support thing. And with any protocol, that is always the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of challenges, let's segue towards the Malaysia reality check, right? Besides the fact that smart homes in Malaysia still sucks, and besides the fact that the audience for smart homes are still a little more from the US side, and the reason is because of these factors which we are going to be talking about, because there are issues or there are certain things which is region specific. Like for example, Alexa Plus is only in the US and EU, right? But Malaysia is not in the list, probably until 2027. And Gemini for home has not come in yet to Malaysia. I know it will come soon, but my point is that when? It almost goes back to our topic about how software updates come on a certain smartphone. They said it will come, but we do not know when.
Yeah.
So that is the biggest problem here in Malaysia. Another problem which I just thought about, which I did not put here, which is the biggest issue that I have in Malaysia is smart switches. So I do not know whether you know about this, is that if you want that very nice and no issue smart switches, like I told you about how the panel and all, right? You will need to run a neutral wire.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So thankfully in the studio, there were certain points where there was neutral wire. Because in Malaysia, the older homes have neutral wire. The newer homes, they felt like, we don't need neutral wire, so why do we have to pull it from the box? We just leave it. And because of that, certain unique or very good smart switches or even the affordable options does not work in Malaysia. Number one. Number
Neutral
two.
wire, you mean the
That-
earth wire?
Yeah, so
or-
that's earth,
Yeah, so
neutral,
the
and
earth.
life, right?
Okay. So the neutral
wire is non-existent on our plug points.
Okay.
Only
Interesting.
for older. So probably your mom's house in Kelana Jaya would have it.
Yeah.
But if like my current condo and your condo, I guarantee you there's no neutral wire. Because if you open it up, you cannot find a neutral wire. Because Malaysians or electricians in Malaysia feel like it's not needed. Tak payah lah. So yeah, eventually it's not there. Now, neutral wires are needed for not every smart switches, but the majority of smart switches needs that neutral wire just to plug it in order for you to get it to work.
Right.
There are options. Now, don't worry, I did my research. There are options of smart switches which can work without neutral wire. But the biggest issue is the fact that it's more expensive and also does not have screen. And if you want to have a futuristic smart switch which has a screen or better automation, the ones with the neutral wire is actually very important. Then the final thing is that smart switches is not consistent in Malaysia. Like if you look at the smart switches here in the studio, everything is square. My home smart switch is rectangular. I do not know why. So when I was trying to replace that, I couldn't because I needed to hack. And because it's a rental unit, so I ended up not getting smart switches. I ended up leaving all of the switches turned on, and I got my smart bulb to put on in every downlight in my house.
Right.
So yeah, imagine when I'm going to shift out, that's going to be a fun situation.
So for a consumer who's interested to get started in this smart home thing, where do they go to?
First and foremost, they need to find out. It's a very good question because that's a consistent question a lot of
Because
people
like,
ask me.
where do I start, right?
So
I
you
can buy
start
products,
from
but-
what phone are you using? Are you an Android guy or are you an iPhone guy? If you're an Android guy, the
Obviously
obvious
Google.
there's you go with Google, right? And with Android, because you're using Google, you can get things like Alexa and all to work at the same time. But if you are in Apple's HomeKit situation, I mean, if you are using an Apple, using an iPhone, you do have a bunch of iPads around, then stick with Apple. But that does not mean that you cannot go to the Google ecosystem.
Yeah.
But at least that gives you a baseline on how, or when, where, which area you should start. So that is the first question. The second question that you want to ask yourself is that if you're just starting off, do you want to rely on Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like you want to have it to work without Wi-Fi? Right? Third thing, how many things do you want to really smart home in your house? Like, do you want to smart home your switches? Or you just want to turn on a lamp? Or do you want to go into appliances? So that will come back to what kind of ecosystem you want to go through. If you want to go with the appliances, you know that the best option would be either Samsung or LG.
Yeah.
Of course, with LG ThinQ and Samsung Smart Things, that would be best because in the end of the day, Apple does not make any appliances. Xiaomi do make appliances, which I just like. I yesterday we went to Harvey Norman because Mikhail couldn't sleep, and one of the things that my wife asked me is that I think we need to buy a new air fryer, and I was like, "What's wrong with the Xiaomi one?" So the Xiaomi one is working, but it's a bit cuckoo. You know, there's the knob. So when you want to adjust the temperature, it's like it goes all the way to place. Or if you want to adjust the exact minute or how long you want to do the timer, that is also a bit cuckoo. So I still think that if you're looking for the best smart appliances, go with LG or Samsung. So it all
Makes
comes down
sense. Makes sense.
to how much of a smart home do you want to do an entire smart home? Because if you want to do an entire smart home, that's where I would say it goes into the next topic, which is go with Home Assistant. So Home Assistant is using Raspberry Pi style.
Okay.
So it's like you build a Raspberry Pi and then you go on the website, on Terminal because I'm a Mac
this
user.
sounds like a very geeky thing to do.
Exactly.
It's
so,
like a,
but just recently, Home Assistant as the company itself has built and they're also selling a dedicated Home Assistant Raspberry Pi for you to just plug and play.
right.
So
nice.
which means that I already set it out of the box. The good news is that I bought it. And it's still on my table for probably 6 months ago because I thought I wanted to convert into that, but I just did not have the time. So the Home Assistant Hub is something that is so much more advanced, but at the same time, it is the only way to make everything come together. Because certain things that is not available on, just say it on the Google and available on HomeKit or vice versa, because of the different protocols that I mentioned earlier, you can tap into those protocols.
Right.
That is how you can get it unified with Home Assistant.
Okay. My question is, does it run locally or does it need an internet connection?
For Home Assistant, it runs locally.
That's the best.
Yes, exactly.
I think
But
that's
to
really
set it up is a little harder, even though there are, like the Raspberry Pi options and stuff like that. So again, that's why I said in year 2026, why isn't there an easy way for us to have a smart home where it is locally made, meaning like local centric, not local like Malaysia local, but meaning like, within your home, whereby it does not rely on the issue of having,
your data going out to a cloud and public
That's
cloud
number one.
and
Number
stuff.
two, remember, by not having smart switches, I'm turning on the switch 24 hours. It's not a significant increase of the electricity bill, but it does take some amount in electricity bill as well. Then, of course, another Malaysia reality check is availability, right? Because most Matter certified products are not so easy to find in Malaysia, like in Shopee and Lazada. And although this is not directly connected with smart home as well, but this actually, it's a whole issue with Malaysia and in general when it comes to tech products. Let's look at the Google Fitbit Air. It's not available in Malaysia.
Yet.
Why?
Yet.
Yeah, but my point is that if the Pixel devices is here, why is the Google Fitbit Air not here? Because we have a bunch of scalpers on Carousel who is selling it for 700 to 800 ringgit when the price of a Google Fitbit Air is just 99 USD, right? So that is one of the major issues that I have, major issues. Second of all, I want to try the 8 Sleep. You know the 8 Sleep? So 8 Sleep, because you know how I'm obsessed by having the best sleep on planet Earth,
Yes,
right?
me too.
So I'm sure you
But
are.
usually I don't get enough sleep.
Exactly. So because honestly, sleep is the best thing, right? Your heart can be the healthiest in the
Also,
world,
it's
but
the free. It's free.
it's
so,
free.
Yeah.
So there's this company called 8 Sleep, and they came out with the 8 Sleep mattress, which is like a layer where it has a built-in AC, where it's like water pump, right?
Right.
So you put like the water pump next to you, and then it regulates temperature. If Jen feels like she's the kind of person who sleeps on a warmer temperature and you like it very cold, it actually divides it into two.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Exactly.
She
Same like
likes
me.
it warmer.
Yeah, correct. I need a super cold. I'm actually considering getting another freaking fan to just put right in front of my face because I need the cold temperature in order for me to sleep better. Which by science, colder temperature does make you sleep better.
Yeah. You need it to drop one to do.
When I was in the hospital, my sleep stress was very low, even though I'm very stressed because it was very cold. And you know how hospitals are very cold. So again, the availability, like that 8 Sleep, is not available in Malaysia. And that is the biggest issue. Even the Whoop Band, it took several years. I had to, when I got the Whoop Band, the Whoop Band version 4, I bought it from Dubai. And I had to use a VPN in order to set it up in Malaysia. But now it's easily available. So my point is that the availability in Malaysia is still the biggest problem, whether or not it's smart homes or tech in general. So that is the biggest issue as well. So yeah, I think that is about our whole entire complaint about how 2026 smart home still not the best, still sucks. And with that, if you are a smart home fan, and if you have any questions to ask about smart homes, ask me in the comment section below. But I want to hear your complaints. We have complained. I've talked about most of it because, of course, I'm a huge smart home enthusiast. But I would like to know what are your frustrations. So let us know in the comment section below. Okay, going into two very quick mentions of the tech news. We have two major ones to announce. So I'll get Vernon to talk because I talked a lot about the smart home stuff, complaining about that. So give us a quick two mentions about this.
This week, one very big piece of news is especially for OnePlus fans.
Okay.
And OnePlus has officially stated that it will exit US and Europe. And the other sub-brand, Realme, is going to be dead in China as well.
Oh, I didn't hear
I
about
mean,
a Realme.
as you know, in 2021, they've started consolidating OnePlus and Realme into Oppo, which is the mother company and the mother brand. And moving forward, there's just going to be Oppo in most cases.
Okay.
In a lot of markets, which is sad. I feel very sad for OnePlus because, as you know, when it started, it was this really big challenger brand that came up, took a lot of risks, was quite a bit of a marketing maverick in terms of how they sold the devices and how they marketed the devices. And obviously, you know, Calpay came out. And
I know. So that's why I'm very eager.
Started
to
another
hear,
maverick brand.
I'm eager to hear what Calpay has to say about this because OnePlus was his baby, right? And
He probably said, "I told you so." I said goodbye first.
Yeah. Good point. But they specifically mentioned it's only US and EU. So which means that is OnePlus going to be available in China, for example, or it's...
The fact is they said that they will not launch any further phones in all these regions, US and
including
Europe,
Realme.
since the 2025's OnePlus 15. So no more phones.
So Marcus Brownlee, time to change your daily driver.
Yeah,
Because
and
he
as
does-
you know, even OnePlus has I've gone into using Color OS, so it doesn't even have its own OS anymore.
Yeah.
So the experience is very Oppo-ish,
Yep.
and no longer its own.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I guess maybe also the challenges of memory prices and component prices, which we don't think is going to be any better the coming 12, 18 months maybe.
Yes.
So I don't think OnePlus is going to be the only brand that's going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there'll be others as well.
Who do you predict that will be going down as
The other
well?
one will be Realme, obviously.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
We haven't touched a Realme phone for years, man.
Yeah.
Are you
And
sad?
you will never touch one ever again.
Exactly. I'm nothing to lose there. Are you sad that OnePlus is gone?
I'm kind of sad. I mean, I was a fan in early days.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were really good devices. Very
And OnePlus
kind
is
of
the one which
cutting
had a
edge.
Hasselblad collaboration before Oppo stole it from them anyway. Okay, what's the next news then?
The other piece of news is has to do with Apple.
Okay.
And as you know, there has been a bit of friction, them trying to release phones and also Siri AI and Apple Intelligence in China. And you know, China is a very closed kind of a wall. And Apple has chosen to use Alibaba's Qwen, which is a LLM, right?
Yes.
As to mitigate this and to, I think, accelerate their entry into China.
Mm-hmm.
So in one corner, we have Gemini Intelligence, which we know.
Yeah.
We work with foundation models.
Yes.
But in China, we're going to have Alibaba Qwen, which
It's-
is good.
So it's the same thing as putting Google foundation models, but now instead of Google, for China specifically, it'll be under Qwen instead.
Yeah.
So it's the same level lah.
I wouldn't... They're different,
Okay.
but...
No,
they're
meaning same
competitive.
level of where they're... I wouldn't say level which is better. What I meant is the same structure, like the org chart per se.
Yes.
Like, you know how like we have the foundation models and then you have Siri AI on top of that.
Absolutely the same.
So it's just like the ground up, that ground level, instead of it being Gemini, it will be Qwen.
Yeah.
That's I think is good
I
because...
mean, it still maintains private
Yeah.
cloud compute, which is...
don't you think that's a good thing?
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
At least it is available in China then.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it passes China's very strict, data privacy and
Yeah.
security rules. And
Yes, it does. And they are very strict about it. Although, they don't have to, but they're still very much strict
No, but
about
I
it.
remember Craig during WWDC 26 announced to the world that it has, delays in the EU, number one, and also delays in China, where they were working very closely with the regulators in China
Yeah.
to get, Siri Intelligence or Siri AI into China. So I think this is a good step.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, those are the two very quick news. And of course, if you guys want to get a bit further context, Vernon always writes the best on our website at www.adamlobo.tv. Next, let's go into the next segment, which is
Your favorite
Who
segment.
Asked for This? The segment which Abang Vernon has created. So I haven't seen it as usual. I'm seeing it at the first time with y'all. It looks like a plaster. So what is this?
We are literally entering the AI period because this this product
AI period.
this product is called the Vivoo Hygienic FlowPad. So it is a intelligent sanitary pad. Not for the women folk, obviously. And the cool thing about it is that I think the science is actually insane.
Wow.
It's a menstrual pad
Okay.
with microfluidic sensors that can measure FSH levels, which is follicle stimulating hormones,
First time I'm hearing that.
fertility, and even pH balance. I mean, it's really high level bioengineering.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
and I think it hints at the future where this clinical grade, insights can be woven into, your daily life,
Uh-huh.
your little daily things. I mean, if you look at it, when you want to analyze hormones and get insights from hormones and stuff like
Yeah.
that, it's quite invasive.
Yeah.
You gotta go do blood work and stuff like that.
Yes.
This can be done on a monthly basis at home
Okay.
using this smart pad.
Yeah.
Literally smart pad, it was not a tablet.
Yeah.
Smart pad that you wear. And then what you need to do is when you change the pad, when you take it out, I wouldn't know how to do it because I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
But what you do is take it out, fire up your app,
Okay.
capture a photo of it using the app, and it will analyze and give you insights from there, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I was just about to ask you, can you explain the flow about this? Get it?
Very funny, someone.
But yeah, I think that's very interesting. And I would feel that as a husband of a newly born mommy or a mommy who just gave birth, I think this would help in several ways, because one of the things that was the issue for my wife to at first try to conceive a baby is the wrong calculation
Right.
of the flow, or when is the ovulation period
Because
and
that's
stuff. So
based
is
on
that
an
something,
algorithm, right?
Yeah. So is that something that you can find out as well?
I
on
think this would be much more precise because his hormone levels is actual, like almost blood work.
Yeah. So what she did is that she went to a TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, and got that to calculate it accurately. So are you saying that something like this could actually help to calculate?
I think
that?
in some ways it does.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. There
pretty
is.
cool.
You noted here that there is a subscription. Oh my God.
Obviously, there is a. I mean, each pad can cost $4 to $5 USD.
Oh, subscription to buy the pad, not subscriptions monthly.
There
of the
is
service.
a diagnostic subscription.
Oh,
so
God.
basically, you're paying for the app as well. So
Okay.
that is definitely something that you need to take account of. But if you find it useful, and I feel that it is for some people,
Okay.
especially if you need to really, get insights about your hormonal balance and stuff like that, your
Okay.
levels.
I'm trying to understand, why would someone buy this over something like smart rings, which is still a non-invasive wearable, or like
It's different. It's just
yeah.
different kind of insights. This is, I mean, literally medical grade where it goes down to blood level, right?
Okay.
A smart ring
It's
does
very
that.
interesting. Is this already out? I mean, is this like
it
a
is-
selling product already?
It is a selling product, yes.
I can see a screenshot of the app. The app looks very nice. It says that, your value is positive. It shows history.
It flows well, I guess.
Yeah, it flows very well. Fertility, I think ideally with this current day and age, fertility is an issue for a lot of people. I do know personally a lot of close people who wants to get pregnant but cannot get pregnant. So this could be one of the steps, I guess.
Yeah, I think what's really important and interesting is that it's something that you can do at home. You don't have to go to a clinic. and you get regular kind of insights,
Mm.
and it's not via some rudimentary algorithm that's on maybe your smart ring or
So
maybe
the
an app that
sensing is
tracks.
purely from a liquid level, or do you need to take pictures and stuff like
You
that?
take picture of the pad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and of course, if you're worried about hygiene and stuff like that, it's basically everything is already encapsulated into
Yeah.
that pad. It's very safe.
Okay.
It's sealed, and that's how literally it works.
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand the mama test here. Because imagine your friend saying that, "Hey, I'm paying
Don't open it
20
at the
ringgit." Imagine I'm paying 20 ringgit for a pad, and then you have to take photos all the time. Do you think that?
I mean, it's not all the time. It's like literally a week in a month when
Yeah.
you're going.
When
to
I say
your
all the time,
menstrual
maybe like daily code. When you take photos, it's like open it and take photos.
cycle. Yeah,
Wow.
a little bit inconvenient.
Yeah.
But I guess for this particular
Privacy wise,
context,
though, you think about it. Imagine if you have like a photos album which syncs with the whole entire family. It's going to be like you open it. Oh my God, what is this? You get
I
a
think
bit-
to mitigate it, you can only grab photos via the app, and it's kept within the app, and it's not shared into the
Devices photo
the
library.
generic photos album,
Okay, got it.
photo library.
Okay,
I feel that's one way.
very interesting. So who asked for this, and do you know anybody who would definitely go out
I
and
think
buy
it's
one?
very useful to women folk,
Yeah.
obviously.
Exactly. And you know what they say, like, belum cuba, belum tahu in Malaysian language means that you wouldn't know until you try it
Yes.
yourself. Very interesting find.
Very interesting.
Vivoo FlowPad. If you
I
are
like
a
the
female, Vivoo FlowPad. If you are a female watching this podcast, which usually is not the case, we hardly get any females for
Yeah, that's
audience.
true.
But if you are, let us know what you think of this. Do you think that it is helpful? Okay, we are going to be switching our community segment instead of Tuesdays to Mondays, according to Abang Vernon's suggestion, which makes sense so that we can gather enough data and at least there's a proper timing. So every Monday, we will be asking questions on our main channel until the subscription grows here, which we are on the road towards 100 subscribers. So thank you so much. 100 people means so much to us because this is a brand new channel. So do subscribe if you guys haven't done so. And so currently the community questions will be asked on that main page. Who knows, probably maybe in a month or two, maybe we can
Yeah,
start
we're gonna
asking it
start.
on this particular page once we have this channel to grow. And Abang Vernon has posed a question which goes in towards our main topic over here, which that every appliances in our house is turning smart, right? Smart fridges, smart blenders, and even smart trash cans. I have a story about this. What is the most useless smart home gadget that you've ever bought or even you've seen? Very good question. I love
Since
the
we're
question.
on the subject of
Yeah,
smart
exactly.
homes,
So 45% of y'all feel like smart fridges is useless because you feel like I don't need a giant screen on my fridge door. You'll be surprised that is the selling factor because it can work as a smart hub, but it comes down to the ecosystem that you're in. I almost said Apple ecosystem. But that is, a lot of y'all think that smart fridges is something that you do not like. 21 is smart toilet, literally full of shit. I like smart toilets though. I don't think it's useless. Okay, never mind. The next one is
analyze your-
smart. Okay, so we have a tie for smart trash cans. Waving my hand
we
to open
do.
a lid is rubbish. Literally. I like your definition. Smart toothbrush. I don't need an app to tell me how to brush. Which I still think is also useful. I think this one is going to be... I don't mean to be the devil's advocate, but I honestly think that all... Okay, maybe the smart fridges is not useful. But I think the other three is very useful. I'll tell you why in a short moment. So I want to know your opinion on this poll, and would you vote the same thing? Would you say that smart fridges is the most useless, followed by the smart toilet and the smart trash can and the smart toothbrushes?
I wouldn't say smart fridges. I wouldn't agree because I think what I've seen and what's potentially available to us as consumers, if a fridge can tell me that I'm low on certain groceries or ingredients,
My point exactly.
I
See,
think
there you
that's
go.
good.
Yep.
Or if you give it access to purchasing, it could actually, do purchases for you when, stock's running low and stuff like that. Number two, in terms of diet, it's cool. Things that you buy, you'll be able to tell you nutritional information about certain things that you buy. It could maybe suggest certain dishes that you can cook based on the ingredients you have in the fridge. I think all this is all actually available already.
Yes.
So I don't think smart fridges is that unuseful in that sense.
Absolutely agree.
Smart trash cans, however, I feel is rubbish. So I'm not sure why you would want
I
a
will tell you why.
smart
Okay.
trash can
I'll tell you why.
to analyze
Yes.
what you consume. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Smart toothbrushes is still kind of useful because I do have a Xiaomi smart toothbrush.
Okay.
I don't think it's horrendously bad or is particularly useful in a way
Okay.
because it'll tell you how you brush your teeth and where you missed out and stuff like that. I don't know whether it's accurate.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4, smart toilet. I don't think it's all shit.
Okay.
It can be useful if you want to analyze for certain health conditions and maybe diet and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the poll, I cannot say whether I agree or not to it. It's really a very personal kind of selection.
The interesting thing is that we do have 10 comments. This is J3 says that imagine doom scrolling TikTok on your fridge. I think that is not the point here of the screen, like what Abang Vernon has mentioned. The point of the screen is to do other things, right? But I'll get into my opinion. I want to read through the comments first. Nicholas Wong says that smart fridges are just free screen real estate for ads. At least the rest are somewhat useful. But if it's at home, will there be ads? I don't think so, right? That's beyond your control. And that's at your control. Gideon Morrison says, all of the above. Okay, bro. This Morcat Japanese name here says, imagine the next wave we are about to have. AI fridges, AI toothbrush, AI lights, and AI toilet that analyzes your shit to tell you ate too much of cake last night.
I love the comments.
This is nice.
The
I love
comments are
this.
hilarious.
And yes, Vernon actually laughed at the comment. And then Lee Vo says, for me, it's the smart trash can. Seriously, people nowadays are just too lazy to step on a freaking piece of plastic for a lid to open. Again, I've got my opinions on that. UEUE says, the most useless smart device I read about is so stupid. That is even difficult to describe its stupidity. I'm talking about a blood pressure measuring device, same cuff around the arm, same rubber hose, same size box for battery and compressor, just without a display. You need to connect it to your phone, you need an app, you need an account, and yeah, so on and so forth. So yeah.
I mean the lesson here is that not everything needs to be smart, I guess.
Yeah.
Some basic features are
very good point.
just enough.
Yeah. But at the same time, I understand his frustrations because how can you call it smart without a display while certain things like the Whoop does not have a display, but that was intentional. They did not want to have a display because it can last longer.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's an ideal device for you to, if you like to wear a dress watch and you want to have your health to be tracked. So I totally agree with UE. But I want to go through my point of view of these devices over here. Smart fridges would be so beneficial for situations like what you just said, like looking at your fridge.
What's in
inside
your
your fridge, what is expiring soon.
Yeah.
Imagine when you put the yogurt, your Greek yogurt, you put inside there and automatically it scans to tell you that it's going to expire. So before it expires, it tell you, by the way, your Greek yogurt is going to be expiring in 2 days, for example. And you can set a reminder, for example. So that's where I feel like the screen is very important. LG came up, and I think other brands followed suit, is that they came up with a knock feature where you open and then you have a screen. And it actually is literally a camera to see inside. That way you don't have to worry about temperature changes when you open and close your fridge. And I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, I went for a Samsung SmartThings launch in Bangkok for a very quick day. It was like a 1-day trip. And right now with SmartThings, you can even ask the fridge to open with your voice. And similar like what you said, carrying your groceries, you just said open fridge and it opens for you.
Yeah.
And it opens like nicely, not like it doesn't open like slam into your face, meaning like it slowly opens. Then the moment that you walk in, the motion sensor will help you. So I think smart fridges are the future. So I wouldn't say that that is the most useful one. So I will totally disagree with all of y'all. So yes, I think you all are going to be hating me. And so yeah, just fight with me. Second of all, let's look into smart toilet. Maybe now I changed my mind a little on the smart toilet. Like why is it there? I think we did one of the who asked for this. Whether the toilet will let you know that you're sitting there too long.
Yes.
So maybe this would be my top of the list of why it's literally full of shit. But my interpretation of smart toilet is the button system. You know, like how you press certain buttons. You have the heat function and all.
Okay.
So that is my smart toilet idea. Not so much to analyze your poo to tell you that he ate so much cake, which could be quite interesting though. So like for example, you know how you have your journal app on an iPhone or even like on a Whoop, which tells you, oh, what did you do yesterday? Did you eat late? Did you know, like for example, the reason why by analyzing your poo, I'm not going to use the word SHIT, but analyzing your poo will help you determine what you ate wrong the day before you got sick. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
again, I believe things smart needs to have a proper reason to it, and I think should be fine. So that would be one of the...
Yeah, don't be smart for smart's sake.
Yes, exactly, right? And of course, who does not like heating and who does not like a freaking bidet, man? I need bidet in my life to a point whereby I buy a portable bidet whenever I go to the US and UK. I need bidet. Okay, so another thing, smart trash cans. Hear me out. It's not only because I have owned 3, not 1, 3 smart trash cans, and all 3 went KO. I'll tell you where it's beneficial and why I'm annoyed at this industry and I feel like why nobody is doing it. Smart trash cans is not only about waving your hand to open the lid. The best invention at this point in time is the fact that it can use, with one button, you press a button and it will seal the bag, and then when you take it out of the bag, they will auto refill another bag.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
That's cool, right? And I feel that is why I would get a smart trash can. You know what's my problem with it? Is that all 3 which I bought had that issue with the second feature, whereby like you press the button, it was not getting it to do it properly. Second of all, you know how you have your refills? The refills is nowhere to be bought. So eventually you buy a smart trash can today, you might not know whether there's support, like a software support in the next 5 to 6 months. So that is the current annoyance of smart trash cans. Smart toothbrush though, I agree with you that they may not be accurate in trying to figure out where you missed and all. But what I like about smart toothbrushes is that something that none of us will know how to determine. It's like, how often do you change the tip of the toothbrush?
Every few months?
Yeah, but sometimes you can't track that every few months, right? So, and it depends how hard are you brushing your teeth. Some people brush it slow. Some people have different, like for example, for me, I only can use the soft one because I have very sensitive gums.
Same.
So otherwise means my gums bleed like madness, right? But
Still
my
bleeds.
my new habit of eating chewing gum, which is a good habit to have healthier gums, is that ever since I started eating chewing gum to not eat desserts, I haven't had any
that's
gum
what you
bleeds.
think.
Yeah, it's 2 reasons. First is the not to eat the LDL.
Well, LDL is so good though.
No, we have it once a week together. This week, no, because he's not around. So I would not have it without you. As inside joke, we had this French toast with Nutella, and oh, it's so good. Anyway, so smart toothbrushes tells us when to change our toothbrush, and also if you're brushing too hard, because brushing too hard is still not the best thing. So I still have a Philips smart toothbrush, which tells me that. Tells me when to change, tells me if I'm brushing too hard, but it does not tell me where exactly. And these things are all indication not through an app. Xiaomi has an app. So I would say that, you know, all of these 4 devices have a real reason to it. But I agree with UE on the certain things should have a display. And I can imagine a wave of AI fridge, toothbrush, and lights and stuff like that, which is very interesting. So yes, like I said, next week Vernon will be asking these questions specifically on Monday instead of Tuesday at our main channel at Adam Lobo TV. And with that, we like to conclude this week's episode of What the Click. In terms of video releases, if you're watching this on a Saturday, tomorrow we'll be releasing a very interesting video, which happens to me almost every time I review an Android phone, which is the fact that I always go back to a nothing phone. So the video is called Why I Keep Coming Back to Nothing. Get it?
What a good title.
Yeah. So hopefully it's a very good click-through rate title. So that concludes our What the Click episode. But before that, also when it comes to the releases, Samsung Unpack is officially on the 22nd of July, which means that our embargo shoot will be released, or the video will be released on the 22nd July. So by the time you watch the next episode, we will be talking about that briefly, because we want the episodes to drive based on topics as opposed to news as well. And with that, we'd like to say thank you so much for watching episode number 64. My name is Adam Lobo.
And I'm Vernon. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.